So when I tell people I do digital well-being and also help people use their smartphone less, so many people say to me, oh, I need that. I need to use my phone less. Because the reality is, for most of us, our phone is a habit. It's a habit that we have grown over the years of smartphone use, that we just pick it up without thinking. So today I am going to talk to you about using friction as a way of using your phone less. So what do I mean by friction? I don't mean, friction as in sandpaper or anything like that. Friction is obviously when things aren't so smooth. So as an example, if I had a big bowl of chocolate buttons or mini eggs on my desk right now, as I'm working, I would just be picking at them and eating them because they're right there. The action of eating them is so smooth, so easy. And so I'll just keep putting them in despite the fact they're not very good for me. However, if that big bowl of sweets, chocolate, mini eggs, whatever it might be, was in the kitchen and I had to physically get up from my desk and go and get one, it's not quite as smooth anymore, but it's still relatively smooth. My kitchen isn't that far away. My house is not a mansion. So I would still, be there within 20 seconds eating those sweets, chocolate, whatever it might be. So there's a little bit more friction in that I've got to move to get there, but it's still not high friction. Now, if I actually didn't have any chocolate or sweets in the house at all, and I had to go to the shop to get them, then suddenly the friction's really high. Now I've got to put on my shoes, put on my coat, walk to the shop. There's a shop at the end of my road. For some of you, it might be even having to get in the car and drive to a shop. So the friction suddenly becomes much, much greater. And so now it's really not smooth at all. If I fancy even just a little bit of chocolate and I haven't got any in the house, then it's really not smooth for me to get that chocolate. There is friction. And so when it comes to habits, friction is really important in helping to break the habit. Because the more friction there is between us and that habit, the harder it is because there's too much friction. It's kind of like, wading through treacle rather than just running normally. You're going to be slower. There's so much friction in the way. So how can we create friction when it comes to our phones? So the first obvious piece of friction is that, like the chocolate, if it's next to you, you're going to pick it up. So don't have it next to you. If it is away from you, even if it's still in the same room, because I've had pushback from people who are saying, yeah, but I get calls from my phone. It's not just there as a mini computer. I actually receive phone calls. Put it somewhere that you can answer that phone when it rings, but you've got to physically get up and go to it, because when it's right next to you, oh, look, now it's in my hand. You can do it without even thinking. But the friction there is you've kind of got to think, oh, I need my phone. Where's my phone? Oh, it's over there. I'm going to have to get up and go over to it. So the friction's higher. It's even higher if it's in another room in the house. It's even higher if it's not in the house at all. Or if you're leaving the house, of course, it's even higher if you don't take your phone with you. So the friction is much, much higher. Now, most apps are designed to be friction-free so that we spend as long as possible on them, hence the endless scroll. There's no point where it goes, oh, hang on a second, you're caught up now, you've done it, you've finished, you can put your phone down now. There's no point of that, it just keeps going, there's no friction. So we need to set up that friction, and we can do that by setting up things like screen time limits. So we can have that friction where it pops up and says, you've finished your 20 minutes on Instagram for today. Or if you have it set between certain times a day, it will pop up that you don't have access. And even though we can override that friction's there to make us go, oh, right, okay, should I or shouldn't I? Suddenly we have to engage our brains rather than it being an unconscious process. Another great friction piece that you can try is putting a hairband or elastic band around your phone. Because when you're scrolling, look at that, no friction. Here, I've got my phone now, I'll show you. Oh, beautiful, no friction whatsoever. Yeah, if I had an elastic band on here, it'd be like, oh, there's something in the way of that scroll. There's something getting in my way. There is physical friction there between me scrolling and my phone. I'd have to take the band off, put it around my wrist, put it down somewhere. And again, just that gap, that even 2 seconds that it takes to remove that engages my brain and goes, actually, do you really need to go on your phone right now? Because otherwise, if it's too smooth, we don't engage our brain. We just unconsciously pick up our phone and take that action. So there's a few examples there of the friction that you can create between you and your phone. And I want you to think about other ways that you can create that friction. For example, when are you most likely to find yourself scrolling on your phone? Like, for example, if I sit on the sofa and my husband puts a Netflix series on for us to watch, if my phone's next to me, chances are I will pick it up and start scrolling. So what I do is I crochet instead. My hands are busy. So the friction is my hands are too busy. I would have to put all my crochet stuff down to then pick up my phone and scroll on it. Or, of course, you could just keep it the other side of the room. So have a think about when you're most likely to pick up your phone and how you can create that friction that will stop you doing exactly that. And if you would like to use your phone less, I have a lovely short course that will tell you exactly how to do that. I will pop the link in the description, and of course make sure you're subscribed to my channel as well, because I share lots of hints and tips about how to use your phone less, how to improve digital culture and business, and how to improve your digital well-being. Take care.